Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis from the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Monday. I want to read to you today from the little book of Jude in the New Testament. Jude sits down to write a letter to his fellow saints. He says, these are the ones who have been preserved in Jesus Christ. And yet he feels the need to write some warnings. In verse 3, he said, Beloved, while I was very diligent to write to you concerning our common faith, I found it necessary to write to you exhorting you to contend earnestly for the faith which was once for all delivered to the saints. He begins his letter with this common yet loving address, Beloved. He first wants us to know how much he cares about us, his nurturing for the saints. And his first goal was actually just to write about our common salvation. You know, we should rejoice together about what Christ has done for us, in the fact that he died for us on the cross, or that he raised again from the dead and promised us that resurrection one day. Believers do have that in common, no matter what little doctrinal arguments we have or differing practices we sometimes have in our churches. But Jude says, no matter how much I wanted to write about our common salvation, which, by the way, Peter calls our like precious faith. I love that picture among believers. But he said, instead, I feel compelled to exhort you to contend earnestly for the faith. The idea of contend there sounds like a competition, maybe like a boxing match or a challenge that we have been given. Paul wrote in Philippians chapter 1 and verse 27, Stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. He speaks of standing fast with one mind, like we need to stand together in defense of what we believe, especially in the challenge of an ever-changing world, or even an ever-challenging world today. But he also says this picture of striving together, it reminds me of two oxen that have been yoked together to pull against the plow. I think we need to combine forces today to stand against an ever-challenging world. And I also think that the picture here, Jude says that we should be able to contend. We need a solid argument for the gospel. Much like Peter writes that we should always be ready to give an answer for the faith that is in us. We need to know what we believe today, and we need to be able to defend it against the world. We need to be able to declare and maintain our faith in a godless world. I really believe that the field of education is changing very quickly, teaching atheism and social practices today. Perhaps Jude has been written for just such a time as this in America. And I do believe that Jude says, this is the faith that was once delivered unto all the saints. Don't listen to any new doctrine, any new things that come along. We believe in what God has given us in his word, and we're going to stand fast in that. He also says this faith was once delivered unto the saints. These are the ones that God has called out of this world and consecrated to be his holy people. We need to be able to stand in the evil days that are coming. Let's take a stand for our faith with nothing wavering.